This is the King's Court on Arena Sportsnet, presented by American Grappler.
I've got more swagger than Mick Jagger, more sex appeal than Vince Neil.
All guests from all walks of life share their time with the King of Connecticut.
They are dreaming of just one night with a man such as myself.
Any and everything goes.
I am the King of Connecticut. I was raised with class and sophistication.
And now, from Norwalk, Connecticut, weighing in at 230 pounds, if George Clooney had muscles, they'd call him the King of Connecticut. The one, the only, Matt Granahan.
It is the pernicious purveyor of preposterous pomposity, manipulating the minuscule minds of the masses of miscreants. I am your host. Welcome to King's Court. 'Tis I, the King of Connecticut. Matt Granahan sitting here at the King's Castle down here in South Kakalaki. And I am sitting across from a man that deserves a major introduction. This man is absolutely a legend in many, many worlds. Nobody can say that they are the legend in professional wrestling, former NWA World Heavyweight Champion, in collegiate and international wrestling, All-American from Arizona State University, folk-style national champion, Greco-Roman national champion, multiple-time AAU champion, world team member, and UFC Hall of Famer, UFC Super Fight champion, the incomparable, the one, the only, the master thespian, Dan, the Beast, Severn. How you doing tonight?
Wow, I'm actually looking around. Is he here? I did all that stuff? Gosh. Wow. Simply to answer your question first time, how am I doing? Well, 4 out of the 5 of the voices in my mind are saying I'm okay here tonight. It's just that one, it keeps going. That's the one that keeps bothering me,
Well, I'll tell you, Dan, you have been up and down the road. You're here in South Kakalaka. You're sitting here at the King's Castle. We are overlooking the beautiful pond, and there is a cougar that's trying to get her claws into you already here in the neighborhood. She keeps calling me. She keeps blowing up my phone. She keeps saying, "Where is the beast? Where is the beast?" She saw you jogging last time you were staying here at the castle, and she's been talking about you ever since. And she goes by the name Mrs. E, because she's beyond D. She's beyond double D. She's Miss E.
My. That's all letters with M's. My. Miss E is extraordinary.
She is indeed. She is indeed. And, and I keep telling Miss E, and I keep telling a lot of the women around here this. I was over at the Super Walmart earlier. I had another one of these old cougars come up to me, just like Miss E, and they said to me, "George, I've never seen you look better." They said, "George, man, you must be working out, George. You must be eating tons of protein. My goodness, George." And, I'm sick and tired of this comparison with myself and the Silver Fox George Clooney, because that man, he is a hypocrite. And when I say he's a hypocrite, I'm talking about the whole deal with him being so outraged at the special interest groups, but then he supports Hillary Clinton, who's heavily financed by the special interest groups. So for the last time, my Kakalaki Cougars, I am not George Clooney.
That's fantastic right there. Well, the sheer fact I know the king has a certain, well, it's kind of like the beast here. You know, there's this animal magnetism that the ladies have for the beast, much like the royalty and the power that the king wields as well. That's a bit of a tongue twister right there. Let's say that a little bit slowly. And, you know, what can I say there, King? It's the burden that we must bear.
That's right. You know, years ago, I was at the mall with Dan Severn. It was right before one of his renowned wrestling clinics that we had going on here in Kakalaki, and he had a similar situation where young ladies came up to him and they said, you know, we see you on that show, Magnum PI, but you look so much more muscular and manly in person.
Well, I know it's kind of like you and George Clooney. It's I always say that I'm just his younger brother. That's all. I'm just his younger brother. You know,
his younger, studlier brother. You know, you can't have Dan the Beast Severn on the King's Court and not talk about a Gracie. And of course, I'm talking about Anna Gracie. Because Anna Gracie,
yeah, I don't know if I mean, there's an awful lot of these Gracies right there, but Anna Gracie, I've never heard that name. Is she a jiu-jitsu expert as well?
Well, all I'm going to say is she loves putting the king in her guard. And the king doesn't mind allowing her to put him in her guard because Anna Gracie is one foxy lady. She fell for the king like a blind roofer. She was running a dojo up there in Charlotte, North Kakalaki. The king came sauntering in, rocking and rolling, strutting and strolling, and she was so lovey-dovey with the king of Connecticut you would not believe. But something happened, Dan, and I can't quite figure it out.
Well, King, let me just ask you a few things right there. I mean, in this last grappling encounter, were you trying to break guard? Were you trying to pass guard? Let's speak about this in a technical essence here right now. That might have something to do with it. Not knowing.
Well, there's a maneuver it's called the can opener, as you know, the escape guard. But I applied that maneuver on her lovely round Brazilian booty instead of where the can opener normally is applied. And I just enjoyed the ride. And I would say that the guard is for Miss Anna Gracie. I find it disgusting to have a sweaty man wrap his legs around me or attempt to do that. And you know, when I first found out about this jiu-jitsu stuff coming from wrestling, I said to myself, what the heck's going on here, man? Is this guy trying to marry me? What's going on rolling around in our pajamas? But I can tell you it's an enjoyable experience when Miss Anna Gracie laps those legs around you.
Well, are they strong legs?
Oh, she's very powerful.
Oh, well, that's good to know this. You know, but it runs in that Gracie lineage. They like to fight off of their back.
They do, and Miss Anna Gracie loves to be on her back, especially when she's around the king.
Well, obviously she would not make a very good professional wrestler. Then she would be down for the 3 count.
She'd be down for the 1, the 2, and the 3. And I might hold her down for the old King Kong Bundy 5 count, Daddy. You know what I'm talking about. Man, I'll tell you, I want to, because Anna Gracie has recently disappeared on the king. She for some reason, she's just gone MIA. I want our show producer, the incomparable Brian Snow, at the end of this episode, to play Van Halen, Why Can't This Be Love? And dedicate it to the beautiful, vivacious, pervacious Anna Gracie, Daddy.
I am touched by this gracious actor. It's something else. Once again, that generosity just exudes. You just ooze with it all.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Now, I want to move on to another topic, another subject, because, Dan, not everybody knows that you are a master thespian. And you starred in a movie called Swamp Zombies. And then one of your co-stars in that movie is a young woman who is known for giving many men carpal tunnel, and I'm talking about the vivacious Jasmine St. Clair. Can you talk about that shower scene you had in Swamp Zombies?
Well, Matt, King, it's some dates I just don't really want to discuss because it was young in my life. I needed the money, being that poor college student, stuff like that. I try to say that all the time to young people, that to be careful in today's world. What takes you such a long time to build a reputation, but mere seconds to destroy. I I know it was up for an Academy Award, but I think it just ended up just being an Oscar.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, everybody, you got to check out Swamp Zombies. You also starred in a movie called Rudy, and I wanted you to talk about that because that is a movie, and this is the Arena Sports Network, and that is a sports movie and a classic based on a true story.
Oh, that was fantastic right there. For almost 3 months, living right down in South Bend, Indiana, right there at Notre Dame University. That's the original Rudy, and I hope I pronounced his last name correctly, Rudiger. He was there on set the entire time that the movie was being played out. You had Sean Astin as the character playing Rudy. And the sad part was we did go through about, I think, 2 or 3 Rudy stunt doubles where they were getting into the live hitting and stuff like that. They wanted all the football players really getting after it. And let's just say that a couple of his stand-ins had to be carried back off the field and never to return. But it was fun. I played the role of a football extra, and here I am. I think at that time I was 35 years of age and being cast as an 18-year-old walk-on to the football team. So just a great scene in there where one of the coaches is saying that we're just basically going to be cannon fodder for the rest of the football program and probably will never don the gold helmets and things of that nature. And, if we wanted to go home or call mom at that point in time, we had the right to do so, but it does go then into a kind of a cool little scene of showing a number of other professional wrestlers and myself going through all these little agility drills. And another famous wrestler by the name of Al Snow was in that same movie.
Awesome. And, I say this to people, and this is kind of how I sell myself. This is kind of how I sell myself to executive producers like Sal Francio. So I got my little role in the Fight Valley series.
King never has to really sell himself. He just has to show presence, and they should be wanting to do business. Come on now.
Exactly. But sometimes you got to smarten them up. And one of the lines that I drop on these executive producers is, listen, when you are a professional wrestler, you do everything in one take. You only get one take. There is no cut.
That is also true, and that when I first got involved in that industry, I was actually kind of blown away as to how a lot of these professional wrestlers had to improvise, because things are going to go wrong in these matches. Whether someone gets actually hurt, whether we have equipment failure where the top ring rope has broken, and you might be a flyer, and all of a sudden all of these spots that you thought you were going to perform are thrown out the door. Now you have to improvise and other. So it's it's really something that to watch all this together. To the public side, they're not really aware of it. But the rest of themselves, they have, I guess, secret ways of kind of letting the referee know and letting each other know that, hey, I'm hurt or things aren't going quite right, and they have to change the match, make that a second throw.
And that's a great point, because something that just came through on my news feed, Enzo Amore, a new star signed to WWE, just had serious injury at their pay. It literally just happened in the last hour. Fortunately, it's all right, but it kind of got here, and his neck snapped in an odd off the rope, and he ended up taking a dump outside and was unconscious. And the announce team, speaking of having to work on the fly, the announce team did a great job of doing that as well.
Well, I'll say that in my own career, I have this dual aspect. My first profession was becoming a professional wrestler as of the 1990s. And at that point, the new rule came down from the United States Olympic Committee that allowed athletes to be both amateur and professional simultaneously. A collegiate program or a high school program, because you're still going to be ruled by high school athletic association rules or the. I was already past my passing eligibility, so I could have my cake and eat it too. So I could pursue professionalism, but if I still wanted to make the national team or Pan American team, world team, or an Olympic team, I still had that opportunity. My amateur wrestling career really got to me. So I hope, and what did we talk about before that?
These injuries, the
injury, had this career that I had. I have been far worse in my professional wrestling career than I have been in my entire cage fighting career. And people are like, oh, that's impossible. But the explanation to that is in a real athletic contest, all you got to do is walk out there and get results. You're not filling a window of time. You don't care if it looks good for the people and stuff like that. But in professional wrestling, you are an entertainer. As The Rock was the number one sports entertainment product in the world is professional wrestling. And I always take my hat off to wrestlers. I simply say that professional wrestlers are some of the most incredible athletes, doing some of the most incredible athletic maneuvers without the aid of a safety net. So you should be knowing that when you step out to that ring, you might be filling a 10, 15, 20 or more minute window of time. So when you're out there for that long, it's a game of give and take. You are telling the story, a physical story that you're telling through your facial expressions, body language, and what's happening through this match. And usually, you're going to be good body, return to favor with the clothes line, with the diameter, clothes line, or with return this, with the form. All of that physical, one of the most fundamental professionals go through is as bumping. And to the layman, bumping means learning how to fall down and protect yourself. Most professional wrestlers don't realize what they are learning is one of the most basic fundamentals of martial arts wrestling. So that when you hit the ground, you want to hit with as much body mass as possible so you can disperse that impact. Otherwise, you blow on your shoulder, blow on a knee, or blow on an elbow, and that is what happens to a lot of these wrestlers.
Yep, and that's a great point, and something that I think with the world of professional wrestling, and like yourself, coming from an amateur wrestling background, you go into pro wrestling, you can work a style that's a lot safer. I've always, when I've done pro wrestling, worked a really safe style, and I'll give you a couple examples. You know, when I got into the world of pro wrestling, and it was interesting because I grew up, really enjoyed the theatrical elements of pro wrestling, and it was right after college. I was going to this judo club called the Sahi Judo in Danbury, Connecticut, and I had my buddy Dave. He was a wrestler from New Fairfield High School, and he was also fresh out of college, and we were still rambunctious, and we were in there in the dojo. And he told me one day, he said, I'm going to pro wrestling school, and I'm going to be a pro wrestler. And I said, there's such a thing as pro wrestling school. So we started talking about it, and he basically took me around as his opponent because he was a little bit, or we should say partner in a sense, because you're really more of a partner. And it was kind of the way that I was kind of directed whenever I did pro wrestling throughout the years. I mean, and that goes back 20 years ago. I always wanted to bring guys in that I felt safe with. Like locally here, Steve Volponi. He's a two-time state champion high school. He's smaller than me. He moves really well. He wrestled at Anderson College. He's a good athlete, and we can have a safe match. And a lot of times you'll show up in a building, and this has happened to me quite a few times. It's happened to me recently. And you're working an indie show, and you get this opponent, and he wants to do these crazy, outlandish moves, and you're putting your body at harm's risk. And a lot of times, I don't know who this guy is. I don't know how long he's even been doing the wrestling, and he might kill me. He could break my neck. He could paralyze me.
Oh, I totally agree with you there, King. It's you get into that locker room, and you might go over the match a little bit, and all of a sudden they want to climb up on the top rope and do this triple, quadruple flip twist, and you're the recipient of all of this, and you're thinking, I don't know. He doesn't even look like he's strong enough to lift me up in the first place right now. And yet you're going to be the recipient of it. And that's where I've had to even teach my own guys that you're going to get in this locker room, and everyone wants to become the star because it is that world of fantasy. But some of these wrestlers, they live that world of fantasy for so long, they soon forget where does fantasy end and reality begin. And there's some people, we'll leave a few names obviously now, that they want to have the people even in their own home refer to them by their ring name. And I'm like thinking, that's living, you're living the gimmick here now at that point in time.
I think Dan's talking about me in the King's Castle.
No, the King, no. You know what? I've seen the King in action here right now, so I know what is fantasy and what is reality. It's those ladies that you cast a spell upon here right now. That's the real magic of the King.
Indeed, I cast that. I've got my fishing pond here across the street here, and it's like I go down there with my rod and reel, and a few casts, and I've got a bass. It's like, I talked about with Anna Gracie. I walk in there and our eyes meet, and it's like George, or she calls me Jorge, or whatever they say in Portuguese. And I say, baby, I ain't George Clooney for the last time. I am not George Clooney, baby.
Well, it's a burden you have to bear, and King, you've done a great job by bearing with that. Let's talk politics for a moment here.
Okay, absolutely, sure.
I know that as I motor down the road, you talk, you call me at different times, and we speak about all types of subjects here. And I think as of late, it's been a lot more on the political scene because we got all these candidates that are vying for that number one position to represent their party. And, the beast has no future in politics, only because I'd rather just hurt your feelings right from the get-go as opposed to lie to you. Now, I've been watching these political debates, slandering of each other. At the same token, they call it slandering. I'm not sure if it actually is slandering. When's the last time, King, I have to ask you this question, when's the last time you've ever met an honest politician?
Well, I'd say I don't think I ever have, and right here in South Kakalaki, and of course it was a big news story. Our very own Governor Nikki Haley bowed down and surrendered to the King of Connecticut, and she surrendered the flag from the State House. I think you might have seen that match. That happened right at American Pro Wrestling in Spartanburg, South Kakalaki. I came out there. The King came out there with the flag that she had come here to the King's Castle and gotten on her knees and surrendered to me.
My goodness, that's another one of these historical moments in history. I'm surprised that you haven't been asked to come on a network there and bring up all these different historical type moments here just to keep the young people informed, because I hate to say it, but too much playing of Xbox, too much Facebook time. I don't really know if they're learning anything in schools anymore.
And the King's tried to mentor the youth. You know, I told you about lovely, and I'm going to show you a couple of pictures too. My lovely little Ashley from the gym. She's a sophomore at USC, and she's a lovely, lovely young lady. I've been trying to mentor her, and I've been trying to tell her, you know, you're getting your exercise, but we can take that to another level, and we can help you with a little more calisthenics, a little more flexibility here at King's Castle.
Once again, the generosity that oozes from the King.
Absolutely, just oozes from my pores. And as we're talking here, my phone is blowing up. Miss E keeps texting me, "Where is the Beast? Where is the Beast?" She's right across the pond here, and it seems like it may be mating season here at Ridge Creek, South Kakalaki.
The wind must be kind of drifting right across her. She has caught the scent.
I think so.
You know, there's the only thing I can think, because I barely pulled up into your driveway, and you were saying your phone is blowing up. I'm thinking, wow. I mean, I know that the Beast has a certain animal magnetism.
Absolutely.
But, you know, I don't know. It's a curse. It actually is a curse, you know.
I think that scent that you exude has crossed the pond, and it is hovering around her back deck. I think she's sitting out there on the back deck. Now, we were talking about pro wrestling, and there's a pro wrestler that is very relevant this time of year with Cinco de Mayo coming up. Dan, are you familiar with this guy they call Mick Luchador?
Mick Luchador. I mean, it's Mick Luchador. See, as soon as you say Mick, I think of McDonald's.
McDonald's, yes. Well, I tell you, a lot of people have said that Mick Luchador resembles the King. We've never been seen in the same place at the same time. But I'm going to dispel that rumor right now, because I know the real story of Mick Luchador.
Well, please let us know.
Now, Mick Luchador hails from Ireland. He had a successful job at the pickle factory.
Wait a second here. Now, it makes sense with the name here right now and being from Ireland and that, but what does pickles have to do with an Irish name, masked luchador, coming up on Cinco de Mayo? You confused the Beast, sir.
Well,
please tell me, elaborate here.
Well, I will elaborate, because Mick Luchador had this successful job at the pickle factory. And one day, he came home from a long day at the pickle factory, and he said to his wife, Margaret, he said, "Margaret, I have horrible news. horrible, horrible news.
King, I need a little bit more clarification on this job. Do you actually know what he was doing as a job at the pickle factory? I mean, we'll get back to this horrible news, but what was his occupation at a pickle factory? I'm just, I'm curious as a layman here right now.
Well, McLuchador, he started out sweeping the floors.
Okay, so he started low on the totem pole and he worked his way up to the breaks.
By the time this unfortunate incident took place, McLuchador was already plant supervisor. He was plant supervisor, and that's what makes this all the more damning, because Margaret and Seamus is McLuchador's first name, they had gone from the depths of poverty, and they finally had a nice home.
That's the American dream right there. Coming to America
Absolutely.
And with nothing, and then all of a sudden, from sweeping the floors to now he's what was it?
He was plant supervisor of the pickle
supervisor.
Yeah.
Now, what tragedy took place?
Well, he said, Margaret, I have horrible news. Something awful happened at work today. He said, I got me Willie stuck in the pickle slicer.
Wait. He got what stuck into a pickle slicer?
I got me Willie stuck in the pickle slicer.
Oh, my goodness. That is a real pickle.
It is.
Well, it's kind of ironic here that he was working in a pickle company, and he got his Willie.
He got his pickle in a pickle.
In a pickle slicer.
He got his pickle in a pickle. And so then Margaret, she said, oh, no, Seamus, whatever will we do? And then she paused and she said, well, Seamus, what happened to the pickle slicer? And Seamus said, they fired her too.
Oh, my goodness. That's horrible. That's super horrible that an injustice like that. It's just,
So what happened was, old Seamus, he lost his job at the pickle factory, at the pickle plant, and he lost the love of Margaret. And he decided he had to make a drastic move. So he went south of the border, down Mexico way, and he donned his green and white mask. And he became known as McLuchador. And this Cinco de Mayo, right here in South Kakalaki, McLuchador will be doing a Cave Creek chili beer promotion. McLuchador himself will be doing a Cave Creek chili beer promotion at Chickadee's Diner in Irmo, South Kakalaki. Can you believe that? Now, Cave Creek, in case you don't know, is a beer made by Tecate, south of the border, with a chili pepper in every bottle. It is known.
Wow, that is incredible. It's kind of like tequila. It used to have a worm into it, and now we actually have a beer that has a chili pepper. Wow.
It is truly the hottest beer in Mexico. And not only that, it is said that drinking a Cave Creek is like having a burrito and a beer, except you don't need the burrito because the burrito's in the beer.
That is phenomenal. Well, the beasters can't really handle the spicy food, so I don't know if that will ever be a beverage I will be partaking of, but there seems to be a theme in the King's life here right now of certain dilemmas and that come up for problems. It wasn't really all that long ago. You were talking to me about you were traveling cross country at one point in time, but you were traveling. You wanted to really see the USA from the layman's aspect, but you want to do travel by backpack.
Yes.
And so you did a lot of trail hiking, and I know you did a little bit of hitchhiking along the way.
Oh, yes, I did.
One of the exploits here. Could you elaborate onto that right there? This unusual situation that came about.
Well, I have to be careful how I say this situation that the Beast alludes to here, because, yes, I did do a little bit of hitchhiking on my journey across the U.S., and at one point I was picked up by this buxom woman, and she said, let me take you to my domicile. And I'm looking in, I mean, she's got these cut-off jeans. She's got these shapely legs. She's got this tan that's just glowing. You just see the cleavage from her buxom bosom.
You were falling underneath the spell. That's what it sounds like. Okay, you're falling underneath the spell of her ambiance.
Yes, I was, and as she rode down the road with me, yeah, she took me to her domicile. Things got a little bit dicey, shall we say. We arrived at her domicile, and Dan, Dan knows the story, and should I go any further, it is pretty...
Right. This might be a little bit too much for the listening audience. We don't want anyone to have any kind of cardiac arrest or gulp so much that they swallow their tongue or any other objects, but that might be enough right there. Just rest assured that once again the king, well, I should say, I'm not sure how to say it, that he rose to the occasion. He slayed another dragon. There's a lot of knightly type of things that the king accomplished.
And there is another part to this story, and I might as well say it, but I'll say it in the most PC way I can. She wanted to be pleasured in every way a woman could be pleasured. And at one point, she removed her eye.
No.
Yes.
Wait. She had a glass eye, an artificial glass? No.
She did. She did.
You didn't notice that earlier, or it was just so well done, or?
She was wearing sunglasses, and I did not, and I mean, my eyes were all over this body that she had. She was quite buxom. So when she removed her eye, you could kind of use your imagination. What she wanted me to do, in Beast.
No, say it isn't so.
Yes, as deep as your imagination could possibly go. That was a very, very unique experience, to say the least. And she got me back out on the road. She dropped me back off on the trail. And as she was saying goodbye, she said, "I will keep an eye out for you, King."
Wow.
So, I mean, that's one of those stories, and I told the Beast, and I hadn't told too many people about that because it was a wild, wild experience, indeed. And on that note,
that makes me to at the time that you were den mother for that group of brownies.
Yeah, that was a unique experience as well. Brownies are quite delicious. Well, that's about saying that, but anyway. Dan the Beast Severn, he always brings out the craziest things in the King, man. I'll tell you. And on that note, Miss E is waiting for us over here across the pond, Beast.
Well, we should at least be gracious enough to say our hellos,
pay our respects. Absolutely, Dan the Beast Severn, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm going to tell you guys, I have also had the pleasure on a couple of occasions of hosting feasts with the Beast. And if you enjoy what you heard here tonight, a little comedy, things on the lighter side, we could certainly provide a stand-up comedy bar show for your establishment.
Most people don't really figure the Beast actually has a sense of humor, because I take care of business by, crushing people inside the cage or throwing them around inside the professional wrestling. But there really is a much more comical side. As I like to say, it's the beauty of the Beast.
The beauty of the Beast, indeed. Well, thank you all for listening to King's Court. And before we go, I want to remind everybody, I want Brian Snow to tune up Van Halen. I dedicate this song to Anna Gracie. Why can't this be love? And Dan, before we go, one other thing. There's a joke that's been going around. This joke's been going around. I don't know if you've heard it, but I'm going to ask you. What is 225 pounds, dashingly handsome, and disappears in an instant?
You've been listening to The King's Court exclusively on Arena Sportsnet, presented by American Grappler. Join us next Saturday night at 11 p.m. Eastern.
Let me tell you about American Grappler Wrestling and MMA Outfitters. American Grappler makes shirts that honor the American wrestling and combat sports tradition unlike any other brand on the market today. And I'm going to tell you a little personal story. American Grappler just did a tribute shirt to my coach, my mentor, one of my best friends, the legendary Billy Wicks, who just passed on. And all of the profits of this shirt are going to Billy Wicks' family. That's what kind of a brand this is. They are not just an advertiser on the King's Court. They are not just an advertiser on the Arena Sports Network. They have become family. And let me tell you something else about American Grappler. Their shirts are of the finest quality. I've been training in these shirts and wearing them proudly for years. Support American wrestling heritage. Go to AmericanGrappler.us today. You'll be happy you did.